Hello everybody, this is Brittney and Byron, and you're listening to Dirty Laundry with B&B, a podcast about real, relatable relationships.
Transparency at its finest, we air it out and clear it up, offering couples and those seeking healthy relationships a safe, inclusive space to open the vents and find resolve.
Hello, Dirty Laundry listeners.
Hey, what's up, people?
We are here, closing out season 2.
Man, episode 40, we are here.
I know.
It's crazy.
That went by really fast for us. I don't know if it did for our listeners.
Yeah, I don't know.
Episodes.
It's odd that we're celebrating 40 years. 40 years. Look, I can't wait for that day, but we're going to take it slow. 40 episodes. I know a lot of people celebrate 25, 50, 100, but it's kind of cool to celebrate at 40. Who would have thought we would have been here?
I know. And we talked about it for so many years. You know, our listeners know we had this idea for a long time, and now we're here, and it's transpiring and it's happening. We're really enjoying doing it, and appreciating all the support that we've been getting.
Yeah, and so forgive us for those who already know the story, but for those who don't, back in 2019, 2020, COVID shut it down. We're out in California, and we just invited some couples over to the house. Against the law, by the way. But no, we're having dinner. But so we had people over and we just had dinner and we would invite our families and we would just talk. And it was just so refreshing and rewarding at the same time, learning that other couples were going through the same things that we were. So we vowed at that moment that at some point in our life, we would try to share some of those stories with as many people as we can, just to let people know that they are not by themselves. And so then came Dirty Laundry 3 years later, though. So we've been doing this for a couple of years and just been enjoying it for sure.
Definitely. And it's a milestone for us. I mean, it's a big deal for us. We're still not perfect. No marriage is perfect, but it's fun to share our experiences and the things that we use to make our marriage better and healthier. And so, it's been fun. It's been fun. And we've been really working through things with you guys, right along our side. So it's Dirty Laundry where we truly do air it out and we talk about it all. And so that's been a nice journey.
Yeah. And it's crazy because y'all kind of poke and prod us and y'all make us think really critically about our own relationship. And this is not a platform where we give you advice per se, right? We just give you stories and things that we've learned throughout our 23 years of being together and 16 years of marriage in hopes that it can help you. But more than anything, we just enjoy the dialogue and the communication that we have with you all to kind of help us sharpen what we have going on inside of our home.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what better time than our 40th episode to talk about the 4 things we still struggle with, 4 things that we're doing decent with, and then kind of a bonus piece, right?
Okay,
So
yeah.
I guess we'll talk about first, so we've been together for 23 years, been married 16 years this year as of this month of July. What are some things you think that we still struggle with in our relationship?
Okay, so one of the things that came to my head was things that we still struggle with. I was actually going to say that I think we're pretty good at this, but maybe just not taking things personally.
Okay.
Maybe it's not an attack on how you're doing something, but maybe it's a good idea or suggestion, so just not taking things personally. I feel like we still are working on that and working through that.
Yeah, that's hard to do though, because anytime someone tries to correct you, even if it's positive or not positive, but it's correctional, meaning it's critical, but it's something that I can learn from. It feels sometimes like it's an attack on your person or your character, when really what you're trying to tell me is that you disagree with the behavior. So it's hard. It's hard to not take things personally. Like when Brittney asked me several times, if I think I'm right. So this morning we're taking a bike ride to breakfast, and it's this new breakfast spot that they opened down the road. And we thought it would be a great idea for us to break out our bikes. We just got the boys some new bikes, so they had to grease them skids real quick. But so we get on the street and we ride there, and it's 2.5 miles to the restaurant. And it was a great ride. I mean, it was very nice. We were outside in nature. We heard natural sounds. And we get there, everybody's excited. We eat well, and everybody's excited to get back on the road. Well, Brittney's like, well, we should take the other way because it might be shorter. And I'm trying to assure her that it is not shorter. It is longer to go the other way. And she's like, no, we don't know that. We don't know that. So I'm just like, okay, we'll just find out. And I am huffing. On the way back, we go the route that Brittney tells to go, and it is for sure longer. But what I thought was so funny though is as we're riding, you're like, I really like the shade of this part. Well, I really like how smooth the pavement is. And I don't know what she's just trying to make me feel. I don't know if you're trying to make me feel like we should start taking the longer route and you just didn't want to agree that it was longer. But at some point, I was like, man, she just didn't want to listen to what I had to say. Like, she really thought that this route was shorter, even though I told her on 4 different occasions that it is longer. That was an instance where I could have taken that personally. Like, she don't trust me. She don't believe in what I
Right.
say.
You took away. Yeah. If you went
Right.
down that rabbit hole, it's like a whole.
Right. But how easy could it be for you to go down that road? Like, man,
Yeah.
and you start, assigning just those questions, you just being curious to, man, she doesn't trust me. She doesn't believe in what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, that part right there is hard.
Yeah, that's a good example though.
Yeah.
And it was longer, but you know what? It felt about the same. I mean, it all worked itself out in the end.
Yeah.
But okay, so what is something else? Since we're gonna name
All
4
right.
things, what's another thing you think we struggle with still and we're continuing to work on?
I can't say for the both of us, but I think for me, for sure, it's like letting go of like petty stuff. And that's that's a silly example, but that is one example of how, I often get inside my head. I've always been a very conscientious person. I've always been very analytical and like in my mind and overthink a lot of different things. And our relationship is not, and it's not excused from my personality at all, right? So I still do that type of stuff. So I really have a hard time with like letting go of like just petty fights. I think that I get in my mind about it and it just starts to snowball a little bit. And so that's something I'm still working on after us being together for 23 years. I don't think it has anything to do with our relationship. I think it has everything to do with who I am as a person. And it's okay. It's just not okay when I allow those thoughts to come
Right.
out as behaviors, and that can affect, what we have going on
Right.
together.
But yeah, no, I think that's a good thing to work on though. I
For
mean,
sure.
life is short. Life is
It
really
is,
short.
and
It's too short to be upset about things that are really minor and don't matter.
yeah. So what you
Yeah.
mean? My feelings don't matter?
Feelings matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
move on. Okay. We can't solve the world,
Not in one
world's
day.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
Definitely.
All right, so what else?
Oh, one other thing I think and I don't know if we'll ever be good at this because I feel like this is always in every season or every chapter of our children and parenting. I won't say we disagree on parenting, but there are times that we do things differently. And there's situations where one of us feels one way and one of us feels the other.
Yeah.
And so, it's like, I wouldn't handle it this way. I wouldn't handle it that way. But I think there's a little bit of God's intention in there, right? Like there's things that I am more sensitive to and there's things that you're more sensitive to. And so it'll always be something I feel like we're going to work on throughout our marriage.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I've grown to accept that. And I don't mean accept in like a bad way. I mean
Right.
accept like in a good way. Like I appreciate that you can challenge my own thoughts about certain ways that I parent my children because I think it's important that they are well balanced in that too, right? So balance is hard, and I think a lot of times we think it's one side is heavier than the other all the time, and then, okay, it's not fair, so let's try to teeter it back this way. Well, life doesn't work that way, right? It's always complex and just intertwines a lot. Finding that space for like grace and like, you know what, she really wants to do it this way, so let her have it. Like him having a cookie at 8 p.m., like if I disagree with it because he's been having sugar all day, but if he has that one cookie, that's not going to tear up his whole life. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's just okay to just relax and take a step back and allow both of us to make decisions, even though one of us may disagree.
Agree. And I think we see it a lot. I see it mostly in myself whenever, Byron coaches our children a lot of things.
Yeah.
And, he's like a lot more stern. And obviously you can understand things from a male perspective that I can't. And so, me, I want to like coddle them and baby them. And I'm like, gosh, it's so harsh. But I've learned throughout the years, like to just kind of like step back because they're normally fine. And let me give you a great example.
Okay.
Byron coaches our youngest in football right now. He had to go to a football training on Saturday. I take our 10-year-old to football practice.
Okay.
Byron always takes him. I kid you not. Through an entire like cranky attitude all the way to football practice. I don't even want to go. It's so hot and I'm just not. Like the whole time, like he literally got out of the car with his helmet and was like he was just like dragging his feet. And I was like, Jonah, come here. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm just don't want to go today. And I text Byron. I'm like, I can almost put money on it. He does not do that when you're there. He even claimed he was too hot, during the practice and had to come take a break. And He's never done that this season so far. He played sports all year long, you guys. And so I'm like, I'm more like, okay, take a break. I don't want you to overheat. But I can guarantee if it was you there, that wouldn't have happened. And so sometimes I say this example to say it's important to have that balance, because sometimes in order to be great at something or to overcome something that we struggle with, we need someone to say, hey, you can do it. And I'm not the person for that. I'm going to be like, you can have a seat and let me get you some water. And what do you need to go to the car? We can take a break. I'll get a fan.
Yeah.
I'm just not, that's not who I am.
But sometimes like there's that boy who cried wolf type situation where they keep complaining over and over and over again. And I keep saying, nah, you're going to take it. No, you're going to take it. You're going to keep going. Nope, keep going. You're good. And then finally like something really goes on with them. So I think you give me that good barometer check. Like, it's okay. Like, listen, like, I think this is it for real, Byron. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you're right though, because like even like going to the hospital, like that's very important. Like medical care is absolutely critical for your children if you really feel like they got it. Like my son really thought his finger was broken. I'm like, his finger is not broken. But like, you got to take him to the ER right now. And of course, we pay for them to get their little, X-ray and all that stuff. And it's so funny because the doctor's like, oh, he's here again. I'm like, yeah, he's here again, and it's broken, but again, like there might be this boy who cried wolf incident where, us going to the ER is important. But yeah, I think I was just talking to the coaches yesterday about this. Like, I think it's very important. Us as coaches, our responsibility is to teach kids that they can go through hard things. Like that, I think that's one of the prime goals of a coach, is to show kids that they can make it through adversity. Because some of these kids have zero adversity. Right. A lot of them are pampered, and that's the reason why parents are putting them in judo and in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, because they need someone else to toughen up their kid. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that's what I want to do, but I'm telling you that my goal is to show them that, hey, absolutely, you can do this. It gives them a sense of confidence and pride. So for our children, I think it's the same. That's my goal for my kids, is that I want to show them. I'm not going to provide them with false challenges. I'm just going to show them that they can go through hard stuff and they can make it happen.
They absolutely can. And they have two parents that have gone through many hard things. And, while they were out there struggling, I was like, hey, I made it through United States Air Force boot camp in this heat every single day. Y'all will be okay for 2 hours.
So Juju, man, so my man is outside. I tell him he needs to go outside to go take some trash. No, the trash was already taken out. It's just that there's some point where the boy took out some trash and dumped it all outside of the darn dumpster. So I'm like, Juju, you got to go outside and you got to pick up all that trash, because that's going to invite insects and mongooses and everything else around this. I don't know if we got mongoose, but
probably do.
But you got to go out there and fix. So boy was out there for about 7 minutes. I'm like, why is you? And it's hot outside. He don't like to be hot or sweat. So I'm like, where is he at? So I go outside, Brittney. I didn't tell you this, but he's just literally standing out there looking, and Buddy is dripping in sweat. I said, Jude, what are you doing? He's like, oh, and he starts trying to move around. I'm like, no, what? Have you just been standing here? And he was like, yeah. I said, are you scared? And he was like, yeah, I was scared. I said, son, so you chose to just stand out here and just look? Like, no, like you come inside and you ask for help, And so there is that part too, where I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. So uncomfortable to where they can't approach me too about things that concern them. So I just sit out there and I'm laughing and I'm just watching him as he's picking up. Say, but there's nothing over here to be scared of. You're fine. So he picks it up. But yeah, I think parenting is hard. Parenting is hard on and by itself. So why induce more stress, right, by judging you on how you choose to parent your child, and vice versa?
Yeah. And we've talked about this in other episodes too. We've had like multiple parenting episodes, and I think that just giving yourself grace. And like I said, you probably hear us talk about it again, because we haven't even fully hit teenage years. We're just in the early stages of it. And, I'm sure we're going to find things that we disagree on, and it'll be something we always are working with. And they'll probably be 20-some years old. We'll be talking about it.
Yeah, let's talk. Let's move on.
Okay, so point number 4. What do you think?
That was number 4, right?
No, that was 3.
Oh, okay.
Number 4, what do you think? There's one other thing that we need to work on, or our top, we're naming top 4.
We talk about communication a lot. Mm-hmm. I think that is something, a skill that we can continue to hone in on.
Yeah.
I think that for me, well, I can say for both of us, I think that we have a hard time communicating under like stress. Like whenever we don't agree with one another, or things are going real fast and you have to be somewhere, I have to be somewhere, we're both full-time parents and have full-time jobs. So it can make it very hard, because we're, struggling to find that time to settle down and actually discuss what's on our
Right.
minds about something. So I'll say communicating effectively
Mm,
under stress
I agree with that.
can be hard for us.
Yeah. And that's probably something that we'll always work on as well in our
Yeah.
marriage. And communication is the key. So,
Yeah, that's hard, and it's not. I know it's very underwhelming. It's not an exciting topic, but it's so true though. And I think that a lot of relationships have hard times because of the lack of effective communication and ways of explaining how I'm upset or explaining how I was frustrated or explaining why I'm depressed or explaining why, you know, I was frustrated at work today for a lot of different reasons. It's just hard to do sometimes. It doesn't feel good to be wrong. So sometimes you just hold on to your guns and you don't want to admit that you did something that you probably wouldn't have done any other day. Communication's hard, but I hope that, you can find a good, positive, effective way to do that with your partner. And I think for us, we're finding good ways, but I still think it's always something. I think we do a good job of it. Let me preface all of that by
okay.
saying that. But it's always something we should keep on our radar and keep on the table to keep working on.
Yes. And in my opinion, when you're talking about communication, I've noticed for us specifically, as we've grown and matured, that we may not, we're getting more okay with not being on the same page. Like if there's something that we just don't agree on, I feel like that's where we struggle. But the truth is, you don't have to necessarily agree. It's fine. You feel this way and I feel this way. And now we understand how we both feel. And sometimes just communication and communicating that is just enough. And in marriage, you don't have to say, okay, we finally got, I think that is where many struggle.
Yeah.
It's like we have to find that place where we both totally 100% are in. No, there's a little sacrifice.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means sometimes you are wrong, sometimes you are right, but sometimes you just don't agree.
Right.
You have totally different opinions and different visions on it. And we're not going to have the same one. And that's okay.
Right.
We're just going to have to work within what we can, And that's helped us. And yes, I think we were always looking for this is the result of the conversation.
Yeah. And you want it to be like where we both agree, but like you said, it's not often that happens.
No.
Especially if you're communicating in the right way and spontaneous whenever you have things that you don't necessarily agree on all the time.
Right.
Learning to be okay with your partner, man, it just makes things so much cooler in my opinion.
Yeah. No, you're so right. So as long as you're communicating those things, that's important. That's the most important part.
For sure. All right. So I think we beat that down a little bit. So we're horrible. There's a lot of things we need to work on and we're failing. But what are we doing good? So, 23 years of being together, 16 years of marriage. What are some things that you
40
think we're doing?
episodes.
Yeah, 40 episodes. Come on now. What are we doing good? Sorry, Lulu just came over here. What do you think we're doing good?
What do I think we are doing good? We have done a great job. We talked about this a few episodes ago, creating boundaries with our family and our time, and just making sure that we are allowing and doing what we want to do, because we've made a lot of decisions in our life, and we talk about this a lot. It's like, well, we did this because of this person, we did this because now we're just doing stuff that we want to do, and what we want to do with our family, and it's like release so much anxiety.
Yeah, our family and our friends have done so much for us in our life, and I think that early in our relationship, we feel like we owe our family so much to our successes, and I still feel that way. But because we felt that way, a lot of our decision making, even throughout the years, like deciding whether or not we're going to go to a kid's basketball tournament or go home to celebrate someone's birthday, like things like that, were becoming somewhat of a stressful conversation. And, in making a promise early in life that we're always going to go home for either Thanksgiving or Christmas. Well, home changes a lot, right? And what does that look like for us as we go down this path of, relationship and this love journey of ours that we have? So it's been I agree with you. I feel like it's been a kind of, I don't want to call it a burden. It's not a burden,
No.
but it has been a weight that's kind of lifted. And I feel like our family has made that easy for us because they also agree that, there are things that we should also do to enjoy our lives also.
Definitely. And one of those, I think one thing that kind of put everything in perspective for us, and I don't know that we actually said it out loud, but our oldest nephew, our first nephew that made us an aunt and uncle graduated high school and he's headed to college. He's moving into the dorms. And it just puts everything in perspective. Like our time with our children in our house is limited. I mean, we're over the hump of halfway for almost both of our children. One of them for sure. The other one, and I'm not saying they will just leave home immediately at 18, but the truth is we have less time with them now than ever before. And so it's important that we prioritize what we want to do and what we want to expend our energy on. Because the last thing I want to do is for them to feel that we didn't expend it in the right areas and make them feel like, you're just dragging us here. We're doing this. And maybe they enjoyed it. Maybe it's great memories. I don't know. But that's just where I stand. That kind of put everything in perspective. Like, man, when they go to college, they're gone. There's no guarantee they're coming back. They could. Right. They might. But that's it. I mean, yes, they're going to come home and visit. I'm not saying they're just gone forever, but the life that you knew before where you're dependent on them, where they're coming into your kitchen and eating your meals and sitting at your table and saying prayers and you guys are talking in bed and it's gone. And so I think that's been something that's been really great for us is seeing that us setting boundaries and saying, this is what we want to do. You guys are cool. If you guys want to do it, that's great. We would love for you to be there, but no pressure.
Yeah. But it's been cool though, too, because like now we see a shift in their behaviors too. Like our family's starting to come see us more and they're calling us more and they're text messaging us more, which has been great. So yeah, I agree. Yeah. Setting those boundaries for our family has been outstanding, not only for our external family, but with our family within too, making sure that we set boundaries for ourselves too. So it's been great. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Something else. What do you think that we're doing a good job on?
Intimacy. I think that we've always done a good job in that area. I think that though, because our kids are getting older and their lives are starting to be more demanding and we're having to be drawn outside the house, that it's made me think about that more, like how much we still, regardless of all that going on, we still find time for each other to be intimate, whether that means, make it the ultimate intimacy or just holding hands or just watching a movie together or just laying in bed and talking. Like all of that is intimacy, by the way.
Definitely.
So it's been great, still prioritizing each other. Because I'm a fan of touch.
You are. That's your love language.
You appreciate that. So that's been, I think, something that we've always done pretty well.
Yeah.
And continue to do.
And I still like you, so that's probably why,
Yeah. There is a difference between love and like. And I think that, it feels good to know that, your spouse likes you.
Intimacy is important. They say, make sure you or water your flowers because tend to them, that's
for
what
sure.
happens. So
and that's a motivation for me too, to like take care of myself. You know what I mean? Like working out and eating well and reading, trying to stay intelligent because, Brittney be on the news like every night. So I'm not a good conversationalist if I don't know a little bit about what's going on, right? So I had to keep up with you in that aspect too. But yeah, I think that us being intimate, in all of the areas of intimacy encourages you and myself to want to be better for the other person, and that makes you independently be healthy as well. So I appreciate that also.
I agree. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Intimacy. I didn't think about that one.
What else?
So maybe the fact that we are apologizing a lot faster.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I've always been pretty good at apologizing. But
so you're saying I'm apologizing faster?
You're doing a better job too. But it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, it is. So I feel like sometimes with things that you struggle with, the best way to overcome them is to just do it.
Yeah.
Just give it a try. So, right. So for me, it's really hard to say I'm sorry when you think that you're right. Like it's really hard to do that. So I have just started saying, okay, babe, you're right. Okay, I'm sorry. And I think that you kind of sometimes take that as not being genuine.
You don't even think that sounds sincere.
Maybe it's not, but I am like genuinely trying. So it maybe I don't agree for real, but I'm genuinely trying because it doesn't bother me. And it's crazy. So my son is my son. Like my youngest is like, both of them are me in some aspect, but my youngest, as far as like my emotions, the way I was when I was younger, like in quick to anger, he is me. And I've been so proud of him because almost every night we talk about how he did. We evaluate the day on how he did with controlling his emotions, controlling his anger. And he has been doing such a great job.
He is. I just told a story this morning at breakfast because he told me the other day, he came downstairs and he was like so angry. Like, had his fist. He's like, I just want to punch my brother in the face. And I was like, okay. So let's punch something else,
Yeah.
I said, why don't we punch a pillow?
Yeah.
And he was like, that's not hard enough. I need to punch something. I was like, well, Dad doesn't have a punching bag anymore. So I don't know what you're gonna punch, but you're gonna have to figure it out. And I was like, but I was just proud of him because whatever you were talking to him about, he's channeling it. Okay. I said, you could take it out in football and on the court, but he's got some anger built up in him. And I'm so proud of him. He was holding it in. He's like, and I think even after we talked at the very end, he's like, I still just want to punch him in the face. It's okay.
But just the way that he's managing himself has been encouraging for me because I want to make sure that I'm practicing what I'm preaching. So I've talked to him about that and he's actually doing it. So I also want to do those things too. I don't ever want to punch you now, but there are times where I'm like, gosh, dang it, why don't she understand what I'm saying? But it's okay. Like I can just be like, sweep it on the rug and keep it moving. Like it's not a big deal. Everything is not a big deal. Hey, let's keep the main thing the main thing.
Hey, that's right. That's right. Okay, so one other thing that you think we're doing well.
I think we talked about roles in our 3rd episode, and I think we still do a good job of like learning when to take a step back. So knowing when to lead and then when to follow. And I think parenting, when we talked about that, I think those are prime examples about that. But even when it comes to like big decision making, like, okay, am I going to accept this promotion or am I going to accept this new opportunity that the job is offering me? For a very, very long time, my moves in my job was dictating what the family was going and what direction the family is going. We're coming to a spot where our kids are getting to an age and we are getting to an age where it's time to start thinking about, okay, how do we start closing this chapter and what does that look like? Do we start closing this chapter or do we keep going moving forward? And I think that us having those conversations had allowed me to start learning how to stop leading so much in that aspect and allowing my family to help dictate some of those decisions. So as hard as it's been, that's been something I think that we've been doing a good job.
And I know that like Lord didn't take us this far just to bring us this far. Like, we'll be all right. But I do think we do a good job of trying to make sure everybody feels whole. We don't want anybody to feel like they missed out on a piece of something, if we can help it. At least I feel like we try our best to make sure everyone feels like they got to do what they wanted to do in this lifetime and, feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
And feel fulfilled in our marriage and our happiness and all of that. So I do think that we do that well as well.
I think I like how you brought that up too. I think that for me, when it comes to like being fulfilled and making sure you feel like you've achieved the purpose that you're on this earth for, you got to understand your assignment. I think sometimes we get confused with what your true assignment is. And even though somebody's dangling this carrot in front of you and saying, hey, you should come do this, you should come do this, and you should do that. I envision you being this person. And it's really enticing and it sounds fun. It sounds like something I should really do because I can and I know that I'm capable. Doesn't always mean that you should because it's not your assignment. So I think that having these conversations the last 5 or 6 months have made me think about over and over again, what is my true assignment? Why am I here? I know what it is. I already know what it is. I've been knowing what it is, but I think that I've been clouded a bit by all these opportunities, which I've been blessed to have, but the Lord is testing me, right?
Yeah.
He's putting me in positions where it's like, okay, but are you still going to follow your assignment though?
That's tough.
So yeah, it's hard. But I feel like, again, learning to lead and when to follow, we're right there.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. That's a good one.
All right.
That's a good one, man.
All right. So there's 4 things that we think that we struggle with. There's 4 things that we feel like we're doing well with. What's the big aha moment? What's something like out of all these years of marriage that you feel like is the culminating factor or the big thing that has opened your eyes in our relationship?
Big thing for me, I think it's you as the rock for me. I say that in the sense of like your calmness and your presence and your ability to, calm me down. I won't say tame me because that's not really a good word.
I can't tame your ass. I mean, oops. I was supposed to I can't tame you no way, but anyway.
It's true, yeah. But like your calmness and your patience, I think for us keeps us grounded. You're kind of like you're the rock of that piece. And I was when I was thinking about 40 episodes and we're talking about, the things you can work with. I'm like, but the thing that really sticks out to me about you is that I can be in shambles in pretty much any instance I think of in our time almost all of my life together. And I can be like sad or excited or want to share something, and I can look at you and I instantly feel that peace, that calmness, that joy. And I feel like that to me is like the aha moment. That's never changed in all of the years, you know. If I'm distressed and I see you, it's like everything has calmed down. It's peace. And so for me, that's what it is. I think I just know you're like the rock of our marriage, and that's what about you?
Dang, okay. Well, man, that was amazing. Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for those comments. You gave me goosebumps. You know I'm a goosebump guy. But you got me there. Thank you. Cause sometimes I feel like I don't do that, but that's encouraging to know that you think that of me. So that's great. I think that you have given me a sense of confidence that I have never had in my life. And I think that, you know, just in relationships in general, it feels good to do what is fast and quick and easy. But what you see here today is not something that was quick and fast and easy. And, you know, as we were riding yesterday in our little golf cart out in the wilderness and we were getting lost and trying to figure out which direction we wanted to go, I had thought about how sometimes the long way is the right way. And I feel like because we haven't taken roads that were so quick and easy, and all of our small decisions over this time, although they were challenging, have created this blossoming relationship that we have. So you talking about my patience, like I appreciate your patience in allowing me to be, you know, slow in some of the decisions that I make, and being and trusting in me in making some of those decisions that I make. And I just think that again, like sometimes like going the long way is sometimes the right way. And it made us who we are, not only individually, but together. And I'm just looking forward to more years with you.
I know. And more episodes. Season 3 coming out. I like the sweet babe. I think we have a lot of aha moments we could probably talk about. But while we're on that subject, I feel like we have to address, you know, some of our great guests that we've had on this season. We've had on, you know, Andrea McGinty. She was a great dating coach, is like known all across the country. You know, military couples that we've had on, interracial marriage. We've had some really good guests on this
professional
season.
Athletes, divorcees, people that are trying to find new love. And we have so much more in store. Y'all listen, I'm getting goosebumps again. Listen, we have some really cool projects coming up and some fantastic guests that have asked to be on the show, which is really cool. And so we're just going to keep moving on. I mean, I'm so glad that we finally decided to pull the trigger and make it happen. And I tell you what, this has been just a wonderful project for me and you, and a learning opportunity for me and you.
Definitely.
And we're just so grateful to have all of y'all online and beyond with us too.
Agree. And thank you for all of our listeners. Oh my gosh, you guys have been giving us so much love on all the socials. And let me tell you, it means the world to us. We never started this podcast because we wanted more followers. We only started it because we genuinely had a passion in our hearts to share our story and to reach other married couples, you know, and this platform is a great way to do it. So for all the ones that give us love and support. Obviously, we wouldn't even have Dirty Laundry if it was not for our listeners. So we thank you.
Yes.
Closing out season 2. I'm excited for season 3 and more greatness to come, more advice. And hopefully there's some people out there that want to be on that. You're going to teach us some things too.
Yeah. Hey, so do us a favor. If you are listening to this right now and you have a coffee mug, or you got your favorite drink, or you got your Stanley cup, just raise it for us. And we're going to do a quick cheers to 40 episodes on the season 3. Thank y'all so much for your support. Much love and blessings to you and yours.
Yes. Cheers to 40 episodes.
So, thanks again, babe. Love you very much.
Love you too.
We want to keep it moving. Without further ado, be blessed. Be you. Just be. We out.
I'm blessed to be me. I'm so blessed to be